Today is October 16th, 2018. This is Charles. Hey, Charles.
Hi.
And Charles came in July of this year with a history of chronic bronchitis and emphysema. And we began a program back in July, correct, Charles?
Right, correct.
And part of Charles' history is interesting. His chronic bronchitis and emphysema issue started all the way back in 2009. Charles was a welder, right? For how many years?
That's all I'd done.
Yeah, his entire life he was a welder, so 40 plus years probably.
Yeah.
So he was around breathing in, particulate matter, et cetera, and his breathing got progressively worse. Around 2009, 2010, he was diagnosed with chronic bronchitis and emphysema.
Right.
And in 2012, it got to the point where they said you needed oxygen at home. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And why don't you pick it up from there? Oxygen at home. So then how did you start using the oxygen at home?
Well, I started at night, just at night. And then that seemed to work out okay. And then I do have another portal when I use during the day. And I did that when it was real hot weather. But as time went on, it kind of set that in the side and use it.
More recently, since you're feeling better.
Right.
Yeah, so just for clarity, Charles had been pretty much on his oxygen at night consistently up until just yesterday. You said you decided, because you felt so much better, that you decided you didn't want to use oxygen last night. Is that true?
That's true, yeah.
And how did it go sleeping last night without oxygen?
Right, good.
It went fine?
Yeah.
And do you know what your oxygen saturation was last night?
That was between 91 and 93.
91 and 93. And what had it been in the past? Do you know?
I don't remember.
Don't remember.
No.
Okay. And the other interesting thing is Charles told us when he came down, he'd have a severe morning cough. When he'd wake up in the morning, and a lot of thick phlegm.
Well, yeah.
And what percent improvement, Charles, would you say that is after starting in July and we're now in October?
A good 50%.
A 50% or more improvement in the severity of the coughing?
Yeah, and also coughing up.
And the thickness and coughing it up.
Yep.
Does that make getting up out of bed easier in the morning? I mean, what I mean is it better in the morning not having the cough happening?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's better, yeah.
Awesome. And then you said back in July that 15 to 20 steps, something like that. I have a note that it would be difficult to walk beyond 15 to 20 steps without stopping and catching your breath.
Yeah.
What's happening now?
Now I can go way beyond that.
Now, tell the story you told me on the phone a week or two ago about the rain. When it was raining and you were at the clinic and the park.
Yeah, it was raining, so I ran to the car.
And how far did you run?
Oh, that was probably about from, let's see. No, I'd say from
Half a block,
I would
quarter
say
block?
I would say a half a block.
A half a block.
Yeah.
When was the last time prior to that situation that you'd run a half a block?
I missed about 3-4 years.
So it's been 3 or 4 years since you'd run a half a block. That surprised me when you told me that.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned today even with the cutting the grass. Can you tell me a little bit about that grass cutting thing?
Yeah, I thought I'd try it and just see how my lungs work, see how it goes. And I got halfway through, and it was going pretty good. But then there's other stuff I wanted to do, so I stopped and got on my rider and finished it up.
So in the past, if you were pushing the lawnmower, could you push the lawnmower and get the grass done typically before you came down for treatment in July, or was that difficult?
That was difficult.
Were you able to do it or not able to do that?
I was able to do it, but it was difficult.
Difficult. And now if you get out and just push the lawnmower and get the grass cut, can you do it easily or?
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah. Before, back in July, when I was doing it, My yard is quite long, so I had to make a couple of rounds. I had to stop and take a breath.
Now
And then I just keep on going.
you don't have to bother to stop at all.
Right.
That's awesome. So, anything else that, well, tell us about the treadmill. Could you just share about the treadmill thing when you're working out? When you came down, what you told me, correct me if I'm wrong, you would able to go on the treadmill back in July, about 1.8 miles is the speed, up to 2.0 on a level treadmill. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And that felt difficult. Is that true?
Yeah, it was difficult. Yeah, it wasn't really hard, but it
Wasn't easy.
wasn't easy.
Yep. Now what's happening?
And now I'm up to 2.5.
And tell us about the
and
rolling
it's-
hills.
And then it's got a rolling hills where where every 2 minutes it raises it up and goes up. You get to a point, then it drops down, then it goes back up again.
And has that surprised you that you could actually do rolling hills now with an incline on your step or on the treadmill as compared to back in July? Has that been just more recent now? You're saying you're able to do
Right.
that?
Yeah,
And you're on the treadmill for how long?
30 minutes.
30 minutes, and you don't feel terribly winded
No,
after.
right.
That's awesome. Do I have your permission just quickly to share the spirometry test that we ran today and the oximetry test? Do you mind if I just show that? Okay, so this is Charles' July 20th spirometry testing, and graph on the left as well as the graph on the right, and you can see interpretation, moderate obstruction. This was today. This is the change as of 10/16/2018, and his curve has dramatically increased. The interpretation has gone from moderate obstruction to mild obstruction, and his forced vital capacity and his expiratory volume, all these numbers have shifted in a positive way, and there's been a nice change in a 3-month period of time for someone who's had a almost 10-year history of chronic bronchitis and emphysema. Charles, do you want to just share just real briefly as we kind of wrap this up? You came down, we did lab work,
Yeah,
we did food testing,
right.
and we changed your diet all around. How hard has it been to kind of do the different things that I've asked you to do?
First week was kind of hard, but when I get into the routine and finding the different stuff I need at the grocery store, it got easier.
Easier.
Yeah.
So, has it been pretty easy now, especially that you've been at it for 3 months?
Yeah, it's easier now.
And how tough has the diet been? And taking the supplements, if you had it, was it mildly difficult, moderately difficult, or not difficult at all?
Not difficult at all.
All right, awesome. Do you have any advice for anyone who might be watching a video like this saying, well, I wonder if this could help me? Do you have any advice for anyone with chronic bronchitis or emphysema or COPD or anything?
Yeah, I do. I would come down and have you do the exam and check it out. Do the complete exam, the blood test, and the food sensitive test. Yeah,
It's been a real win for you, hasn't it?
yeah.
Yeah. So, Charles, thank you so much for sharing. I do have to share your beautiful bride with the audience just real quick. Karen, hi. This is Charles' right-hand person. Go on step to step with him on this journey. So, do I have your permission to share your story with doctors, other doctors, students, or patients anywhere?
Yeah,
Any restriction on that?
no.
Thank you so much. Great job. Keep it up. I look forward to seeing what your labs look like, and we'll take the next step.
Yeah.
God bless you.
Yeah.